Okay, cool. So today we're going to talk about nested collections. So what is a nested collection? We will talk about that. We are going to use different types of nested collections. So we've talked about collections the past couple weeks in regards to arrays and hashes. So now we're gonna like combine them to make some more complex data structures and figure out how to manipulate those and navigate those more complicated data structures. The cool thing is, it's all the same stuff we've been doing with hashes and arrays, all this foundational stuff about how to query an array, how to query a hash, how to add to them or take away from them. We're just gonna do that on more complicated structures, but the ideas, the foundations, the logic, it is all the same, okay? So sometimes it can get overwhelming and complicated, I think, or we make it out to be more complicated than it needs to be when we see these massive data structures, but really it's the same stuff we've been doing. My cat just fell out of the window. Okay. She's off her game today too. It's a weird day today, people. Some vocab we're going to look at, nested array, and we'll talk more about this, but that's just basically, an array that might have an array inside of it as one of the elements of our outer array. It could also be an array with a hash as one of the elements inside of it. And how do we navigate that? Well, we'll talk about that. And then a nested hash, same thing as like if we have a hash and maybe one of the keys is an array itself. I'm sorry, one of the values is an array. So this is how we create these nested data structures. So we'll talk today about how we handle those. So I'm going to have you do some warm up just to get those hash and array muscles working. So it is a bit of a warm up. I will drop it in your Slack channel so you can just copy and paste it, but you're going to have a simple hash and then a simple array, and you just need to run through these basics. So let me pull up your Slack channel real quick here. I'll drop it in there. Okay, and then let's take about 5 minutes to do this warm up. Okay, so it is in your chat. Go ahead and attack that now. I did say if you first try to do it without Pry, and then you can use Pry to test and make sure that you did it correctly, or write it in your notebook. Either way is completely fine.
I'm sorry, Kat. Did you say it was in the chat or in our channel?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I did say chat, but I meant to say it's in your Slack channel. Thank you, Audike. Don't worry, I'll keep drinking my coffee. Okay, I turned the timer off so I wouldn't have that jarring beeping. But let's go ahead and review this a little. And I know we have been reviewing this quite a bit over the past couple days, but the reason for that is to stress the importance of really understanding the foundations of how to manipulate these structures, because I'm telling you, if you can get these foundations down and get really, really good at understanding what you're doing and the concepts and the return values, then you'll be able to access any kind of complicated data structure in the future. And that's something that you'll be doing your entire career from here on forward. So we want to get really, really good at it. So let's talk a little bit about this warm up. If I could have, I'm going to ask someone to help me with this. With these hash manipulation asks. if, let's see, who doesn't talk much? I don't know. Roberto, you're like waving your hand around, so that caught my
I don't
eye.
talk much.
But if you want to help me with this animals hash, if we want to return the amount of dogs, how do we access that value?
Animals, bracket, quotation, dogs.
Yeah, exactly. And this will give us the return value of 3. Okay, so just a reminder, when we want to access a given key and we want that value, we call the name of the hash, we use bracket notation. Symbols must match the data type that the key is, so we can't access it using a symbol because, whoops, it's a string here in the hash. Okay, and then the return value of this expression is the value of that key. Okay, the return expression is the value of the key. All right, wonderful. Roberto, let's go ahead and add 3 parakeets to this.
Okay, so it's animals, brackets, quotation, parakeets, close quotation, close bracket equals 3.
Awesome, wonderful. So remember, when we want to assign a new key, we have to pair it with its value, use an assignment operator, and this will then set this key and value pair, the key value pair, into the hash. Awesome. All right, and then last one, increase the amount of cats by 2, Roberto.
Animals, brackets, quotation, cats, close quotation, close brackets, plus equals 2.
Awesome. So, and again, I'm just going to reiterate that maybe last time I'll do this. Cats, let me take that away. This is the longhand of what's above it. Right, so what we're doing here, this is the shorthand for adding and reassigning. So the right hand of an assignment operator gets evaluated first. So this expression is going to return the value, which is 5. It will add 2, so 5 plus 2 is 7, and we'll reassign, just like this statement here on line 7, it will reassign the key to a value of 7. And this is the shorthand for that. Okay. What questions do y'all have about these 3 concepts we just went over?
Can you look for the same value? Can you, instead of the keys, like look for all at the value of 3?
Yeah, there are some, let's see, if we look up like Ruby hash methods, and let's go here. So for a hash, these are all the methods that we have available to us. So I do encourage you sometime to just come here and explore, because remember, in Ruby, a lot of these methods do what they kind of sound like. So if we go down here to value, oh, there's 2. There's one value with a question mark. So returns true if the given value. So you can look for a specific value. You can query a hash for a given value. Oh, it'll give you all the values. A value at, oh, that just gives you the values for a key. Let's see. So, but this will kind of help you with that. Usually we are not searching for a value and trying to find the key. Usually we're looking for a key because our keys are unique identifiers. Is there a method that will give you like all the keys for a specific value? Maybe, I'm not sure. I haven't had an opportunity to use that, but this is where you would want to start to look at if you could do it that way. Does that kind of answer your question in a non-direct way?
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. All right, let's go ahead and do this with our array. Okay, so again, if you can master these 3 concepts, you're going to be golden when we start building onto more complex structures. So let's revisit our arrays. I feel like it's been a while since we've talked about arrays. Philip, would you be willing to come off mute and share with us how you accomplish these things for our array?
Yes, so you could use the shovel method to add quad. So you'd say
Okay.
pet names, arrow, arrow to the left, and open quotes quad.
Wonderful, right? Because we're just calling our array and shoveling in a new element. Perfect, right? How about the this one? Access.
Name is first in the list. Could you just say pet names dot first?
Absolutely. Pet names dot first. That'll give us the first element. Whoops. Ah. Oh gosh. Oh no, what just happened? Okay. Oh, friends. Okay. You can also do pet names 0, right? Either of these will accomplish that for us.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect. And then access which name is last.
Same thing. You could just say dot last or open brackets 3.
Yeah, so, and that'll work here because we can visually see that there's only 4 elements in this array. But if we didn't know how many elements, if we wanted the last thing, we could just use dot last and Ruby will take care of it for us. So we don't need to know how many elements are in the array. Perfect. And then how about remove Fila from the list?
Could you say pet names minus equals?
We wouldn't reassign it. Well, what's the rest of this that you're thinking?
I guess I was going to say open quotes Fila. But if that is not going to work, then I'm not sure actually.
Yeah, well, if we know it's the first element, like for now, it's fine if we know it's that first element. And if we weren't sure, let's do this actually, because there's going to be times when you're not sure how to do something. Let's say Ruby remove element from array. Cool. So if we just look, I usually just like pull up the first thing and say, oh, okay, so there's this like dot shift method. Maybe that's it. So what is that about? And then I'll go to the Ruby shift array method. I'll go to the official Ruby docs. And so I'm in my array class and I'll go look at shift, where is it? To see what it does. Removes the first element of the array. Cool, so that might be what we want. So if we do pet names dot shift, that will remove Fila. And we could do a pry here to check it out. Should we do the pry? We should. Maybe. Oh my goodness. Nothing wants to work today, friends. Okay.
It's working, Pat. Just working at its own pace.
Is it going? It's not pulling up my editor here. So that's, fun. Where did that go? Okay. Okay, so if we run our playground, we can see that pet names now has no Fila in it because we shifted, and that shift removes the first element from our array. Okay, awesome. Any questions about any of those methods we covered for hashes, for arrays, for how to move data within those?
So the main difference, like Philip's first instinct was to do that minus equals, which would work, right, in theory, but the reason why you wouldn't want to do that is because it would be hard coding.
Well, let's try it. So you're wanting to do this like a minus equals. So basically you're saying, can we reassign? Can we do pet names? What would you do here though? Pet names minus Fila?
That doesn't really, you can't really use like operators on strings though, right?
Well, yeah, not on an array. Like we can't do a minus sign on an array and then just say, do this thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool, just curious.
Yep, absolutely. And that's why I love Pry. We can just play, try it out. All right.
Cat.
No, curiosity made the cat smarter, and
Oh,
more experienced, and more worldly.
is
Okay,
that just because he has 9 lives?
maybe. I don't know. Did I do feel, well, we can get very existential right now. I do feel like I've had 9 lives. Okay, let's not go down that road right now.
Many, many lives.
Let's go to this array. Let's start looking at some more complicated data structures. Granted, these are not super complicated, but right, if we slowly add on layers of complexity, we can see that our foundational knowledge of how to manipulate these structures remains the same no matter how complicated the structures get. So my Adam does not want to pull up my little text editor today, so we're just going to do it this way. Can you all see my terminal okay? Yeah, okay, thanks for the thumbs up, appreciate it. So let's try a couple things out. Let's run our playground again. And what we're going to be focusing on right here is this numbers array. Okay, so this is a nested array because there's multiple data structures inside of this outer array, right? Our outer structure is an array. And we know that because if we do numbers.class, we can see that we do have an array. Okay, so what do you think? Make a guess to yourself. When I do numbers.count, what am I going to get? And think to yourself for a minute. We're going to do some of this assumption testing today. Okay. All right. You have a guess in your head? Ooh, I like that. Can everyone hold up the number they think that will come back? Or like a shrug if it's not? Awesome. Okay. A lot of people are saying 2, which is correct, right? So remember, a numbers.count on an array counts the number of elements in our outer array structure. So the first element is itself an array. Second element is also an array, but there are still only 2 elements in this array. Okay, great job. Let's do this one. Numbers.first.count. What will I get? Okay, nice. Okay, perfect. So a lot of people are saying 3. It is 3. So remember, when we do Ruby chaining, we're working off of return values of each expression, and Ruby will run each method at a time. So it'll first run numbers.first, and the return value of that is whatever is in element index 0, which in this case is an array. So then Ruby will, once it evaluates this, now it will tack on the .count to this return value. And we know that an array with 3 elements, calling .count on that should return 3. So we can just chain it all and Ruby will know how to handle that. Okay, awesome. So now make a guess in your head, either put it on your text editor and or write it in a notebook. If I wanted to access the element with the value 5, so not the element at index 5, but the element 5, how would I access that with this numbers array? So I'm trying to access this 5. What would I write to access that? Take a minute and think it out. Okay, Austin, do you want to come off mute and help me write whatever query I can write to access that 5?
The 5 you will want to do some numbers and then square bracket 1 and then square bracket 1.
Awesome. So he's saying let's access the from the numbers array, the element at index 1, which is our second element. So it's this. And so that should return this array. And then he's saying, okay, and then from that return value, access also the element at index 1, which should be the second element here within the inner array. And it is. Awesome. Questions yet? Okay. All right, let's try this. if I wanted to add this to my array, how would I do that? And take a minute.
It's exciting this time around because I finally get it.
It is nice when it clicks. Okay. Take one more minute to think about how we would add this. Okay. So Danny, how would we add this element to our current array?
We would do numbers and then shovel in the array 789.
Yeah. Cool. Right. So now we've just taken, just like we did in the warm up, when we want to add a new element, we call the array and we shovel in whatever it is we want to be that whole next element. So it created a third element in our numbers array that is now nested. Okay.
Whoa. I have a question.
Yes.
So I guess out of habit, my idea of shoveling into numbers would have been first shoveling in an empty array and then shoveling like each number into that last array.
Mm-hmm.
And so the fact that you just did that and it's like working, like it's not complaining that it's too many elements, which makes sense.
Yeah, because technically we're only shoveling in one thing, right? One array. It doesn't matter if there's 0 elements or 5,000 elements in this array. We're still just shoveling one thing.
Wow, thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, you could definitely do it this way, Arike, but you're going to have multiple steps at that point, right? Because now, actually, let's do this. If I want to shovel in the number 10, how would I shovel in the number 10 into this array?
Are you asking me?
If you would like to answer it.
Yes. You would have
Awesome.
to call on numbers.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 0, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3. Sorry. 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay. In bracket 3,
Mm-hmm.
shovel, and then the number 10.
Yeah. Yep. So yes, and then you'd have to do it again for 11 and again for 12. So can you do it that way? Absolutely, you can. But as we just saw, it takes some more steps. Whereas, you know, if you already know the array you want to add, you can shovel in that entire thing pre-built. This one, I do like that we did this though, because we get to see again, numbers 3 gives us the return value of this inner element, which is just an empty array. And then we are shoveling in the number 10.
But we couldn't say what we have on line 9. Like if we were to repeat that, numbers 3, shovel, we couldn't do 10, 11, 12. That would not be, okay.
Nope, it says you're trying to give me multiple things. I am not equipped to handle multiple things. Yeah,
Wild. Thank you.
Yep, absolutely. Cool. All right, any other questions about this nested array?
Yeah, I'm just curious, if we would have put 11 and 12 in brackets, it would have accepted it, right?
Yes, and the reason being because when we do this, we are now shoveling in one thing, which is one array. So remember, whether our array is empty, has 3 elements, or has 10,000 elements, it is still just one single array, one data structure, one collection.
But if we were to shovel this bracket in there now, we would have actually a nested array into that index 3. So
But
index
if we,
3, if we were to do that same bracket,
like this,
now we would have a third layer nested, wouldn't we? Because we were, yeah.
yeah, we sure would, right? So now in our numbers array, which is still just one array, right? Our 0, first, second, our element in index 3 is now itself a nested array, but this is still one element. And then with how many elements are inside of this element? Like if I did numbers dot last dot count, what would I get? 2. Did you guess 2? Because remember, numbers dot last, right, is itself an array, but it only has one element, 2 elements, right? Or this whole array is one thing, so that's the second element. Okay, so it's really important to always understand, like in an array, how many elements am I even working with? Because that'll allow us to figure out how to access a specific element. We have to know where it is in all of its nesting. These were good questions. Okay. If you have other questions, definitely speak up and ask, but I am going to move on to another nested array here that we can play with. This one is an array nested with hashes. So its elements are hashes. We still call this a nested array since the outer data structure is still an array. It doesn't matter what's inside of it. We still call it a nested array since that outer data structure is an array. Okay, so let's kind of run through those same ideas. What would be so what would be food feelings dot count? What would food feelings dot count give me? Did you guess 2? Awesome. Perfect. I did start. Okay. Perfect. So even though we've got many key value pairs in here, we still only have a single hash as the first and second elements of this array. Okay. How about this? What would ooh, do you know this one? What would food feelings dot first dot count give us? Oh, nice. Do you know what dot count does on a hash? Danny, what does dot count do on a hash?
I believe that dot count on a hash incorporates the key value pair as a single thing.
Yeah, so it'll count the key value pairs, right? Kind of like socks. If you have one pair of socks, you technically have 2. It's a key and a value, and then it's 1 pair of socks. So food feelings dot first dot count gives 1, right? Because food feelings dot first will return just that hash, and in this hash there was 1 key value pair. So dot count on this hash produces 1. Okay, let's try this. How would we access this value, also tasty? Okay, so write out the code. Take about 40 seconds to write out the code to access that value. Logan, do you want to come off mute and help me write the code to access the value of also tasty?
I'm not really 100% sure, but I can try.
Let's do it.
So maybe food feelings dot last
Okay.
dot values maybe.
That actually would work, right? But it puts it in an array, right? So what if that works, right? And then you could even add on like a 0 to that, right? And then you've just got that. Okay, awesome. Great. Thank you, Logan. Brett, did you come up with a different solution to access that value of also tasty?
Yeah, I did food feeling dot value and then brackets also tasty.
So food feelings dot value.
Yeah, and then brackets also tasty. The string.
Oh, did you say brackets or quote or parentheses?
I did brackets.
I don't know if brackets will work here. Let's try it. Yeah, because dot value would be a method. It doesn't like that though. But let's think about, because food feelings, right, is an array.
Mhm.
So we don't have a method called dot value for an array.
Mhm.
Okay, so I'm just going down the like pictures list of all your faces. Sean, did you try it a different way?
I actually did it the same way as Logan did. I just tacked on values after dot last, but I did actually forget to take it out of the array by indexing it
Okay.
at 0.
I did a
Awesome.
little bit different. I
Yeah,
did
go ahead, Priya.
food feelings dot last and then called on the key symbol calzone.
Awesome. Let's see if that works. Yeah. So, right. So what this does is dot last. We're calling dot last in our array to return that last element, which is a hash. And remember, when we want to find a specific value, we can call that hash and query the key using bracket notation. So that's what this is accomplishing. Because remember, the brackets, that is a method call. It's a very specific syntax for a method call to take this hash and look for the key of whatever's inside the brackets, and then it will return to us the value. Okay, so you just saw two ways of doing it. So this way we could call dot last, call dot values, and just pull the first one. And then this one we can call the specific key to get that value. Okay, awesome. Let's try this one. What if I wanted to change this string of also tasty? I wanted to change it to super delicious. Well, if you could spell it. Is that how you spell it? I don't know. Doesn't matter. That's what I want to change it to. So how would you write the code to change also tasty to super delicious? Go ahead, take 30 seconds and see if you can do that. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Technology is not cooperating today, friends. My keyboard's spazzing out. All right. Drew, I don't think we've called on you yet today. Were you able, or what do you think? What did you try to reset also tasty to super delicious?
I stole Priya's method, the first part, food.feelings.last, brackets, symbol calzone. Then equals, you got to, what are we, super delicious as a string.
Yeah, let's try that. Okay, and so now let's check our food feelings array. Array. Awesome, you were successful. Great job. So remember, when we want to reset a key, we use our assignment operator. So we have the name of the hash, right, which technically is not a specific variable, but food feelings.last returns to us this hash. And that's fine. We just need that hash to call the name of the key. And now instead of just querying the value of that key, we're going to reassign it and set it for to super delicious. And that's why we use our equal sign on the other side of that. Okay.
Cat.
Yes, go ahead, John.
So if we had 3 or 4 or 10 key pair value or key value pairs, would we just use the calling on the index point and then doing whatever it is we're doing to choose one of the not first and not last ones?
Yeah, you mean like if we had more elements in this array?
C. Yes.
Yes, C. So if we had like salad, I'm just thinking of what else is at a pizza place. Healthy option, right? And so then if we run that again, and then after this, we'll take a palm. So now, yeah, if we had food feelings, right? And we still wanted to taste that, change also tasty to super delicious, we would just want to access where that is. So it's now at element 1, right? And now we can call the key of calzone and set it equal to yummy. And then our food feelings, it is reassigned. Is that what you're asking?
Exactly. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, Kat.
Yeah.
What if there were like 500 key value pairs and you didn't want to count them? How could you like search for the key of calzone and then change it?
Yeah, like how
You
do you
mean,
like what if you didn't have the index and you just wanted
yeah,
to find also tasty and change that?
this is a beautiful question from both of you. So you're saying like if our food feelings array had 500,000 elements in it, and
Yes.
each element was its own hash with a single key value pair, right? Which maybe is not the most efficient structure, but
Right.
whatever.
Yeah.
Guess what you're going to have a lesson on? Not today, but another day. I think tomorrow maybe you're going to have a lesson on enumerating or iterating through nested data collections, right? So in that case, when you don't know, because usually you're not going to know what the index is. So what if we had an enumerator, right? Because this is just an array. So we could call a dot each or a dot find or a dot find all and say, only look at the element that has a key of calzone. And if you find a key of calzone, then for that thing, that element, I want to change the value to yummy. Okay, so
Cool.
that'd be a great use of an enumerator. And we'll definitely talk more about that in a different lesson.
That's on next Monday.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I didn't think it was tomorrow, but okay, we're overdue for a palm. So let's come back at 11:26, and then we'll get some really good practice in.
Thank you, 11:26.
All right. Oh, that's okay. I didn't pause the recording, so if you rewatch this, you still get to take a palm and enjoy some music.
Well, you better make sure you edit that out so that the YouTube Nazis don't get you.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay, thank you for reminding me. I'll have to ask Mike how to do that. Okay, any other questions come up over break? That would be why there's faces I don't recognize. I did know about this. I just slipped
Who
my
are
mind.
the unknown people?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, friends. We've got some people just hanging out and checking us out. Amy, I believe they're just seeing what remote life looks like at Turing.
Yeah, we have a few students, future 2008, I think, students who are here with us, just checking it out, and a few who are thinking about enrolling. So just wanted to get a better feel for what remote Turing looks like. So thanks for letting us crash.
Welcome, everybody.
Thanks, Danny. All right, let's get some more practice in, because I think once you get the hang of nested enumerables, I think it's actually really fun and a fun challenge to figure out, okay, I've got this really nested piece of data and I need to figure out how to access it. It's like a fun puzzle, which I know is why a lot of you love programming, because it's like a puzzle. Okay, so now look at this data structure. Oh my goodness, what are we dealing with here? So we know the outer structure is a hash. Right? So now we've got a nested hash. And I know it's nested right off the bat because I can see before my ending curly, I have another curly. So there's nested hashes in here. Now, the way this is formatted is not very clear in terms of like what we're looking at. So let me move this around a little so we could actually see what we're looking at. Oh, that helps. That helps even better. Oh, this is perfect. Okay, so now we can see a little bit more about how this data structure is, well, structured. So let's answer some more questions about this one. So if we do pets.count, what are we going to get? So make a guess in your head. Oh, wow, some people are throwing up numbers really fast. Okay, let's give another couple seconds though. And Dan, can you just remind us one more time, when we call .count on a hash, what is it counting?
It's counting key value pairs.
Yes, perfect. So remember, on a hash, .count is key value pairs. So this will give us 2, right? Did you guess correct? I know there's a lot going on here, but if we look at the outer data structure with pets, we have this key, dog, which points to a value of another hash. So this is all one value for the key of dog. And then we have our comma to indicate the next key value pair. We have the key of cat with its value, this entire hash. Okay, so now what will I get if we do pets.keys? What will be the return value here? And I'm sorry, you're guessing in your head. And well, then we'll see if you're correct. An array of the keys, dog, cat, yes? Ooh, okay. All right, maybe that one was too easy. So let's try this one. How about, oops, keys.values. Well, that give you. All right, pets.values. What are we gonna get? Okay, I love how you're thinking out loud, using your hands to mimic the data structures. That's really helpful for me. Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. All right, let's test it. Ah, interesting. All right, so dot values, remember keys dot values always gives us back an array. So now we've got an array, a nested array, like the one we just looked at before. So we've got 2 elements here that are both hashes. Okay, so let's kind of use this knowledge, write out the code. If we want to access the element 15 pounds, maybe the value 15 pounds, sorry, not the element. I want to access this string of 15 pounds. Go ahead, write the code that for how we can do that, and I'll call on a couple people to give us their examples or their solutions. Okay, Angela, do you want to come off mute and help me access the string or the value of 15 pounds with this?
Yeah, so we start with the pets hash, and then I'll access the cat key in there with bracket symbol cat, and then within there I have another hash, and I'm gonna access the weight key.
So like this?
Yes, that's right, and that should give me the string, the value of weight.
Awesome, it sure did. So remember return values, right? So pets, cat, anytime we query a key within a hash, the return value is the value of that key. So in this case, this entire hash will be the return value of pets bracket cat. Okay, and then since we can chain, these brackets are a method. Okay, since we can chain, then we can add right onto the end of that bracket cat. We can now query this new hash. We can query the key of weight. Oops, I don't know what I just did. There we go. And then that gives us the value of the weight key, which is the string 15 pounds. Questions? Okay, next challenge. I want to add the key. I want to add a key value pair of age 3 to the value of the dog key. Okay. So how would you do that? So write the code to add the key value pair of age 3 to the value of the dog key. You take a minute to write that code and I'll have someone share.
So don't put it in the chat.
I prefer you didn't, just to give other people a chance to really think about it before they see another solution. If it's already there, then it's there. Just don't look. Hey, Hope, were you able to come up with some thoughts on how we can add this age 3 key value pair to our dog value?
Yeah, I think it should be pets and then with the dog symbol in brackets. And then you just do age in brackets and then set it equal to 3.
Okay, let's test it out. Pets. Awesome, looks successful. So our pets hash, now the key of dog, within that hash, that's the value of it, there is the key of age 3. Okay, remember, just like any other hash, when we want to add a key value pair, we need to use that assignment operator. So for instance, if we just had the hash pets and we wanted to add a bird, I don't know, we'll just set bird equal to true. That's how we would do it. We would define the name of the key we want and then use our assignment operator to set that, right? So in this case, we wanted to add that key value pair into the value of dog, the dog key. So we need to first access that hash, right? This expression will return the new hash, which is this value. And then to add a new key to it, we do the same thing we always do, is we define the name of the key we want, so age, and I'll reassign it here, and then set it equal to whatever value we want it to equal. So this expression will return a hash, then we're defining a new key and setting it equal to some value. So now our pets has age of 5. Questions? Okay, so this can definitely get a little tricky, and I encourage you to always know after every method or bracket notation method that you write, be very clear in your head, and if you need to use Pride, definitely it's there for you, but know what that return value is so that you know the values and the expressions that you're working with or the data you're working with, okay? All right, let's work with one more example of a nested data structure, and then I'll send you off to breakout rooms to practice this. So the last one we have, oh, did I not put it in? Okay, is an array within a hash. So we've got some pizza
Kat.
toppings. Yeah.
I had a question about this one before we moved.
Yeah,
so
the pets one.
Yeah, so pets is our largest kind of hash, right?
Yes.
But what if there was an even like larger classification? I called it domestication, right? And then there was like wild and then pets. And I wanted to add pets to a hash domestication.
Okay, so you're saying like you created another hash called domestic. Why are you making me spell difficult words?
I'm
Okay.
sorry. I attempted to make this hash, by the way, and I failed miserably. But yeah, and other stuff can exist there, but like I want to add pets to that one. So
Okay,
like
and you
it
want
kind of feels like reverse, and that's why I have a question about it.
I kind of have an idea for that one.
Oh, please.
So you probably could just say domestication, and then I guess if you want to say yes, just do like symbol yes, and then when you assign it, you just assign it to pets.
Enrique, let me clarify real quick. Are you wanting the key of this to be pets, and then the whole value be this entire hash?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
How does,
so
you know, because we went the reverse route, which is like, let's add something into pets, right? And like go nested into it. But now it's just like, let's say pets was one element, which is what I'm having trouble wrapping my head around. And we wanted to add this one element to domestication.
Yep. And so I think what Hope was saying is it correct. Instead of that key though of yes, we use the key of pets, which is our variable name, which we can't like store the variable name necessarily, but we can change it to a symbol. So if we have domestication as our empty hash right now, right? So if we wanted a key called pets that we wanted to create in here, right? We use our bracket notation to set a new key and set it equal to what? What would this value be right here?
Pets.
Anyone have a guess? Yeah.
Pets.
Pets,
Just pets.
right? Yep. So now your domestication hash has a key of pets, which has a value of a hash, which has two keys in it, one dog, one cat, and each of those has a value of another hash. So now you have quite a nested hash going on, and this is a good thing to get used to playing with.
Thank you so much for going down that rabbit hole with me, because I definitely tried to type this all out like manually, but this, you even just showed me like what the shortcut would be to even do this. So this was great. Thank you.
The bigger question
definitely.
is, how do you get through all of those different nested hashes, Enrique?
Yeah, well, then you start like, okay, well, I like where this is going. So say we have this hash now, right, of domestication, and I want to get back the value of 45 pounds. How would I do that?
I feel like you'd do domestication, pets, in the bracket notation.
Thank you.
And then you would do dog in bracket notation. And then weight in bracket notation.
Exactly, right? Think about the return values of each of these methods. So domestication pets returns the value of pets, which is this large hash. And then we're calling the key of dog on that hash, which will just return the value of the dog key, which is this hash. And then we're querying from that hash the key of weight, which will just return the value of the key weight, which is just the string 45 pounds. This was great.
Thank you.
Yeah, so it's all about working off of those return values, but we're still using that same foundational knowledge we used in our warm-up, where if we want to query a key to know what its value is, we just do the hash, bracket notations with the name of the key that we're looking to query.
Why couldn't you just set domestication equals symbol pets rather than domestication symbol pets equals pets?
So you're saying, why couldn't we do this?
Yeah. Oh, now it's not
showing up as a symbol. We have to signify as a hash in the brackets.
Correct, because that symbol notation with the brackets only works inside of the bracket notation. Domestication equals pets. Actually, this will work. It'll reassign. Now domestication is a variable holding the symbol pets.
But not the hash. Gotcha.
Not the hash. Cool. All right, I want to try this one more example because I do, actually I'm going to skip this example because I want to give you time to practice. The ideas are all the same though. So here's what you're going to do, and I'll put this code in your Slack channel for your breakout rooms. But if you've got two variables, and I made them instance variables since we're not in a class, I want you to be able to access them within your methods. You have two hashes, and there's going to be some tasks you need to complete. The easiest way to complete the tasks is by writing just a quick method that hangs out here. So for example, the first task you're going to have to do with this is write some code which, given a state name of, like, say Alabama, returns the state abbreviation, right? So this method would accomplish that. By, if we were passed it the string of Alabama, it would then go query this hash with the key of Alabama, and it should return the two-letter code. Okay, so the rest of the task will build upon this, and we'll get a little bit more complicated. So let me copy these into the into your Slack channel. Are there any questions while I put this in there?
Just for my own curiosity, Kat, do they have to be instance variables?
They don't have to, but because we're not working in a class, if you don't have them as instance variables, you'll need to move these hashes into every one of your methods that you write.
Yes, thank you.
Yep, so that's why I'm recommending doing that. So in the code I dropped in Slack, there are not instance variables, so you'll want to add those. So I'll have one of you be the driver, share your screen, and work on a text editor, and the rest of you will work on finishing the tasks that I put into your Slack channel, okay? So let me do some breakout rooms.
So where you have it say state, abbrev, and then Alabama in the argument, that's what we're putting so that we'll print that to the terminal?
Yes.
Okay.
Danny, are you the host right now?
I don't think so. How would I know that?
You actually are, because when I was having, thank you. I think you need to make me the host. Can you please give me my teacher power back, Danny?
Okay, yes.
Danny,
please.
you have the power.
Do you know how to do that? Okay, perfect, you did it. Wonderful. Why do I still not have breakout rooms though?
Why was I?
Oh, there they are. Because I gave it to you when I was having issues in the beginning and I forgot to take it back. So, all right, I'm gonna break you all into breakout rooms and give you about 10 minutes to work on this. Oh, perfect.
So it will like actually print to the terminal.
Okay, are we all back here?
Thiago, you're supposed to go back to home base if you haven't gotten that message yet.
Tiago, go home.
I think it's Tiago.
I'm sure I slaughtered the pronunciation, so.
It's okay, Dan. I still love you.
Thank you.
All right, so we don't have too much. We're not going to go through all of that together. We don't have time for that, but did any like big questions come up about how you were manipulating these hashes?
Can we at least just maybe go over together if we have time? Maybe not. I guess level 4.
Yeah.
Level 4 is, let's go the other way. Given a capital name, yeah, let's do level 4 and then we'll call it for lunch, okay? So given a capital name Denver, return the state name for which it is the capital Colorado. Oh, sorry. Okay, I get it. All right, so let's make a method. What should we call this? Like method get state
name.
Okay, state name. And we're going to give it the capital this time, right? If I understood that correctly?
Correct.
Okay, awesome. So if anyone who got to level 4, what do you think? Like, what did you code in here to access this? Because we do have to go kind of backwards, right? We're given the capital. So we need to find the capital and then find the abbreviation and then use that abbreviation to find the key from this hash. Did anyone get to this one?
We did, but we didn't get it.
Okay.
We got oh, go ahead. I was just gonna say our first, one of our first tries was to do well, we did an if else statement, but essentially if at capitals dot values include question mark parentheses capital, then print at capitals bracket capital.
Wait, say this next line again.
I forget what we did. I think Danny might still have it.
So we had if at capitals dot values dot include and then capital as the argument on line 14. And then on line 115, we did add at capitals dot values at capital.
Oh yeah.
But
that didn't work.
Yeah, that didn't work for us.
Yeah, let's look at so if we go back to our hash methods, the values at right, because that for values at, you have to give it a key, right? So we need to know how to go from the value to the other way. So what if we have no idea? Let's go here. So Ruby find key from value in hash. All right, how to find, I like going to Stack Overflow and just kind of looking to see which one would work. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe an enumerable, which I'm not sure I love for this. Dot key of value. Oh, can we do it this way? Let's look. So I'm looking at this one where it looks like maybe I could pass an argument to dot key and it will return the key. Let's see. So let's go back to the docs and we can look for this key. And it looks like with dot key, we can't returns the key of an occurrence of a given value. Maybe that one. Let's try. So it's saying if we pass it dot key and pass it the value, will that work? You know what? What I would do first here is I just stick a pry in here so we can play with this and see if it even works. So let's, oh, I have a lot of pries in here actually. And to hit this pry, I actually need to invoke the method. So let's say state name, and I want to pass it Denver. All right, so now if I run this file, line 121 will invoke that method, which should hit the pry. Awesome. Okay, so capital should be Denver. It is, perfect. So let's just see if we do at capitals dot key of Denver, what will we get back? Nice, Colorado. So maybe we can alter that if statement actually, right? So that'll give us this Colorado. So what if we do this? Let's just say, actually, let's take the if out. We may want to put it in for some error checking, but let's do this. So let's say a brief equals, right? Because that'll pull the abbreviation. And then we can just use the return value that we just saw here, which should be CO. We can use that to go the other way from this hash. So we can do at states.key of abbrev, and that should return Colorado. Let's try it. So let's run this, and let's call state name and pass it Denver. Whoop, whoop. Cool. So we can actually pretty easily go the other way. Now, there's definitely lots of like edge cases that we are not accounting for right here. Like if this doesn't exist, if the information's not in here, if it can't find the key. So definitely some flow control with if statements to handle those errors. I guess there wouldn't be repetition because these state codes are all unique, and all the capitals would be unique. So I don't think we need to handle the case where there was like, you know, I don't know, let's just say California for some reason changed their capital to Denver also. Like, how would that work, right? That's a question we'd want to handle if these could be non-unique values. But in this specific situation, this would not happen. And that's just some of the edge casing that we could think about. I'm actually not even sure what that would return. I'm just curious now. So other questions while I just see what happens here?
I was following along with you, but I'm getting like a wrong number of arguments error. I don't know.
Oh. Okay, so if there's multiple values that match, it looks like it returns the first match. Returns the key of an occurrence of a given value. Yeah. So like not a foolproof method for all use cases, but it works for this use case. Any other questions? That was fun. Maybe Danny, if you don't have this as an instance variable, it might be erring on you, or if you're not passing it this. So, all right. So I just want to recap really fast. Definitely, if you're curious on how to handle those other levels, put it in your either the backend channel or the code help channel, and let other people chime in on it and see if you can come up with those solutions. But I really just want to stress that all we're doing is building on that foundational knowledge of the warm-up. So if you're ever like presented with a nested structure and you're not sure how to add things or query things, go back to this kind of warm up and say, okay, if I had the simplest data structure, how would I accomplish this? Now let's try to recreate that. It's the same technique and idea with the nested data structure. And so being able to recognize return values from when we query these things is really going to help you understand how to build these more complex queries. Okay, any final questions as we wrap up?